99.9 Punk World Radio FM. We got a phenomenal Philadelphia, Pennsylvania-based band here. Are making phenomenal music. They're absolutely tearing up the punk rock scene. We got the DelCobras right here live on the radio station airwaves tonight. Jim, Mark, Nick, how are you three doing tonight all the way out there in Philly?
Pretty awesome.
Hello, good evening.
Fantastic. Can't complain.
But I got to say, first and foremost, again, thank you guys so much for a bit of your time. It's such an honor speaking with you. And thank you so much for a bit of your time tonight.
Sure thing. Absolutely.
Thanks for having us. Happy to be here.
But I know you guys are busy individuals, so of course I'm not going to take you away from your evening too long. But I got to take you back to the very beginning of this amazing band. And I have to ask, what is the story behind the DelCobras? How did you guys meet and come together as one to form this band?
I'd have to say Jim really started it. It was Jim had a band. It was more of a solo act called Scoopski, and it was kind of like a studio project with Jim and his wife. And I interviewed him on a blog that I have, and just said, "Hey, would you like to? If you ever start like a full live band, I'd love to play bass." And he was not a year passed before he got back to me and just said, "You know something? I think I want to do that. Let's start a band."
Yep, that's pretty accurate. Yeah. So it was a project called Scoopski. Wasn't sure if I was ever gonna play live or anything. It was the members initially were just my wife and I. It's still, we're still making it a project. It's not defunct or anything, but we put a band together. And we recruited Mark, and then a little later on, we recruited Nick. We had my wife's in the band. We had another guitarist named Jack in the band. Eventually last year, we kind of got to a point where it was getting a little hard for my wife to do some of the shows, just because just a lot going on. We have a 3-year-old at home, and she has some anxiety things going on sometimes, and so she decided she wanted to step back from the live scene and kind of just focus on writing songs and recording again. That kind of put us in a spot where we're we just spent, the past year or so getting to play with each other and, making a bond as a band. And we could either continue on as Scoopski, I guess without her being at the live shows, or, we could start something new. And we kind of just decided it was time to start something new because up to that point we kind of just been playing we hadn't wrote songs together as a full band. We were kind of just playing songs that were already existing as Scoopski that my wife and I wrote. These guys they played the parts from the recordings their own style and their own way, which is awesome. And you can hear Scoopski had an EP that we did a live record EP, so you can hear the way everyone played the songs differently. But it just felt like it was time to start something fresh with new blood and have everybody contribute. Yeah, new ties, new suits. Just felt like it was time, and that's the origin of DelCobras.
And speaking of Scoopski as well, because you guys actually gave me the scoop on this before we actually went live. I didn't even know that this show happened, but as a big wrestling fan, I got to talk about this. You guys, as Scoopsy, had the opportunity to do a show at the 2300 Arena. For people that don't know, the 2300 Arena is actually originally the ECW Arena where all their TV tapings happened, and a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and even more blood was shed in that arena. What was it like actually just performing at that arena with so much, not even just wrestling history, but just Philadelphia history in general?
It was bloody. No, the show.
We were body slamming each other. You just get overtaken by just the essence of the place.
Not a lot of music.
Yeah.
A lot of wrestling.
Actually, one of the bands we played with, we're joking, but they actually did a lot of stunts, and they had a whole stage show. So that was pretty cool. So it kind of felt like we were at a wrestling show, anyways. But it was an awesome show.
Match. Yeah. I remember that band. I forget what they were called, but I remember them jumping around and pretty much doing wrestling moves to each other.
They're wearing this meat suit. The one guy.
Yeah.
They had
the meat suit.
It was just a guy who was the so there was the band, and then they invite this guy in like this full body suit that just looks like meat. And
they were tights, but like they
Yeah.
had the texture, the like the texture of meat all over it.
and he was their dancer, and he just danced. It was crazy.
Yeah, I believe they were called Granger.
Granger.
oh,
That's
okay.
it.
Yeah. So they
You
might be a cool band to look up if you like, if you like the wrestling stunts and all that. But yeah, it was. I mean, that was a cool show. I'm not sure if they're still doing shows there. They were for like a minute last year. Luckily, we got to jump on a bill there. It was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still doing that. So yeah, but it was cool to play there. I enjoyed that show a lot.
And parking was great.
Yes,
That's
the
always
parking.
my big like, especially here in Philly. It's just like, where are we playing? Oh, this place. It's like, what's parking like? Well, you might be able to get a spot 5 blocks away if you drive around for a half hour before the show. But at the arena, it was just like loads and loads of parking.
There was a parking lot. Yeah. There was a parking lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it had a dedicated lot, so
it's a little thing.
Yeah, can't complain.
Yeah, when you actually said you don't know if they're doing shows, I don't know about concerts, but I did see they got like a wrestling convention coming up there and whatnot with a lot of the ECW legends coming back. But as for concerts, I don't know. But I mean, you might as well make use of the whole arena. I mean, it is a big venue. You can pack a lot of people in there. So I mean, if they don't have concerts there anymore, if the people that own that arena are watching, like, open it up, man. Like, I mean, not only do you have a great venue, you clearly got great parking according to Jim, Mark, and Nick. So what are you waiting for? Book some more punk rock bands.
Yeah, more punk rock than that.
You got the parking in the venue.
And also as well, because you guys got a phenomenal band name. You guys have great chemistry. But one thing I noticed that also the fans are going to notice while watching this interview, you guys have matching suits on right now. All three of you guys have matching gear. Tell us a bit more about the gear. Like, what actually made you guys decide to actually have your own uniforms with your band? Like, was it just something that happened spontaneously? Did you guys randomly walk in and wear the same stuff one night, or you guys just think the uniforms are awesome? Because I got to say, it definitely works. I love it.
Thank you.
We're actually part of the cult,
yeah.
And this is what we wear in the cult at our various religious ceremonies and whatnot.
Way to lay it on heavy.
It's,
cheers.
Yeah, there's
I cheers that involved. Punk rock cult.
Woo!
But go on, Jim.
Yeah. You want me to take this one? Yeah, I guess. Like when we were starting this new thing, the band name was one thing, and once we had the name, I think like personally, I was kind of looking for ways to because the three of us were already part of Scoopski as like the live iteration of that band, and like I think I really loved the name DelCobras so much, and like it just felt like maybe some kind of little touch to like set it apart from what Scoopski was, which I think sound wise there's some differences as well, of course, but I just thought like maybe it would be a nice little touch to try to have like a little uniform or something. I always liked bands that did that. Of course, like I love the Beatles. I was really into this band in high school. Not sure if you ever heard of them before. They were called the Click Five. They were a little pop punky, but like PowerPop.
I love that band.
I used to get made fun of, but I was really into that band.
Just the Girl, dude.
Oh, it's a great song. I love that song. I love that album.
And the song Jenny as well is good. Jenny's a great song.
Great song, yeah. And I think like we get like the PowerPop label a lot. So along with pop punk, but PowerPop's a pretty common sticking one, and a lot of PowerPop bands do like the suit and tie type thing. So I thought maybe we'd give it a shot. And like, there's not many bands that I've seen in Philly who are really doing like this type of thing right now. So we figured it would be neat to try, and people seem to dig it so far. So.
We got to differentiate ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
And Nick did the costuming. We got to give props to Nick. He picked it all
I did
out.
the shopping.
He did.
And the
He
styling.
did great. Did fantastic.
Thank you.
So I got to ask, did you actually have any different ideas for the gimmick as well? Like, did you have it right in your head? Black shirt, yellow tie, or did you have something else originally as an idea that you were kind of leaning towards, or was this like the first choice and the only choice you guys went with?
I think the idea, it's like it's green. It's hard to see. It's like a green shirt.
Yeah, dark green.
But it's so that the idea was like looking kind of vaguely like a cobra, like the green skin with the yellow belly.
Green and yellow, green and yellow.
We just need to start hissing at people a little more to underscore the connection.
Yes.
But also, February 21st of 2025, you guys actually released your very first debut single titled "The Turnaround." I was wondering, what is the story and inspiration behind this amazing song?
Yeah, so I guess it's kind of got a long story. So it's kind of, well, not kind of. It was very inspired by a Netflix documentary. It's actually a sports documentary by the same name. It's also called The Turnaround. It's a story about a Philadelphia Phillies player named Trey Turner, who was having like not a great season. Like, you know, he was known for like having success in the past, but his 2023 season was like not going so hot for him. And you know, people were like, you know, what's going on here? Like, it kind of felt like Trey Turner was like kind of going through something. Like, he just wasn't, you know, nothing was clicking for him. And then this Philadelphia gentleman who is you know, kind of a friend of mine. His name's the Philly Captain. He's like a YouTuber influencer in the area. He had this idea to put out this video where he was like, you know, one day he was like, when Trey Turner goes up to bat, we're all gonna like stand to give him a standing ovation, like to just try to boost his spirits and stuff. Like, that was the idea, was to just, you know, instill confidence in Trey Turner and like, you know, help him, maybe give him the boost he needs to like get his mojo back. And if you watch the documentary, it was successful. Like, you know, people were, you know, standing and clapping every time Trey Turner came up to bat, and it turned his season around. Like, he had something just clicked, and he you know, he started hitting home runs again, and like he became an asset to the team. And I just found that story really inspiring. When I watched it, it came out like last October, and you know, around that time, I had a lot of like stuff going on in my life. I struggled my whole life with like weight loss and, you know, keeping weight off and, you know, trying to be healthy. And I had some success early last year, and then I kind of got off track, and I put a lot of weight back on. And kind of around that time when that documentary came out, there was a lot going on. Like, you know, we just found out Scoopski was probably not going to be happening anymore as a live band, and I was kind of in like a weird headspace. But when I watched that film, like, it was really inspiring to me. And yeah, the song is basically just about like kind of redeeming yourself and getting back in your groove. And that's what the chorus is like, you know, where I say, give me a standing ovation, please, is a direct reference to you know, that documentary in that moment. It's basically saying like, you know, just help people get their groove back and get their mojo back. It's kind of about self-redemption. And yeah, and you know, it actually had I want to say it had a happy ending, because, you know, now the three of us are making music that kicks ass, and I was able to lose a lot more weight. So I'm actually like the thinnest weight I've been in my adult life, which is was the goal. So things are going great. The turnaround was a success.
And you deserve a turnaround, or not a turnaround, a standing ovation, because you did a turnaround.
Yes,
and you kept the weight off.
You did it, yeah.
I gotta say, as a person that struggled my whole life with it as well, I cheers to you, man. Congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
It's an amazing accomplishment.
Thanks, appreciate it. It's tough.
I will admit, I tried it. I tried to do the whole vegan thing. I went like, I think it was, I love cheeseburgers. I ain't gonna lie. I look like it. You can just tell. You know what I mean? I love cheeseburgers. I went about 6 months without it. One day I drove past McDonald's, and I'm driving, and I drive past, and I was like, I can't freaking take it. And I'm just like, I mean,
tough, yeah.
Ronald McDonald was calling, and you know, there I was. There I was, you know. But also, speaking of the turnaround as well, I also read that the drums were actually recorded by Tony Mascara Jr. at the Audio Labs out there in New Jersey. I was wondering, how did you guys actually get connected with Tony? And of course, what was it like just working alongside him for this project?
So it was actually somewhat of a remote recording for all three of us. I did the drums with Tony Mascara. So I was actually in his studio recording with my other band, and I was so inspired by the guitar and vocals that Jim sent that it just made me want to play drums. It made me want to hit things. So I figured I'm already in the studio. I love his drum sound, so I'm going to come in like a half hour early and try and lay down my parts. And about 5 or 6 takes later, I sent him to Jim, and all of a sudden he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have a mix." So I was like, "Okay." First single, go DelCobras.
Yeah.
It felt like the single just came together immediately. I mean, it was like Jim kind of had an idea for the single, sent us a demo, and I mean, it really felt like in no time at all we had all of our parts recorded. Probably because we'd worked together before, and it was just like I mean, it was almost like magic that the song came together.
You actually did your bass first, so I was like, I always try to get my parts done before Mark. So like I don't want to be the guy like holding the song back. So once he recorded bass, I was like, oh, I gotta get my parts in, and yeah, it was very quick. I feel like it was I'm writing the parts, and all of a sudden they're getting mixed.
Yeah, that song was, like Nick said, it was like completely a remote. Like we all recorded our parts in our own ways. Like me and Mark recorded in our home studios, and Nick recorded at the Audio Lab, and we actually sent that one off to independent mixer who I was familiar with from I'm still gonna call Twitter, but he was a Twitter friend from back in the day, and he always wanted to work with Scoopski, but I just never got around to it because it just didn't work out for one reason or another. And when we were starting this, we were like, why don't we maybe mix it up, pun intended there, but maybe mix it up a bit and give him a shot for that song. And yeah, I absolutely love how it turned out, how the turnaround turned out. So,
Hey,
yeah, hey,
this guy.
And quickly, before we actually move off the topic of the turnaround, I have to say, once you guys actually sent us that song, we've been playing it nonstop. It's still in our rotation today. People have been loving it. We've been getting people calling into the radio station requesting to hear more of it. So I will say you guys have absolutely been hitting the ground running when it comes to punk rock. I mean, people are loving this song down here in Canada, man. So it just shows the impact that punk rock can have from Philadelphia all the way to Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. You guys are really making a huge impact in the punk rock community.
Oh, thank you.
Sweet. That's great to hear.
Awesome.
And Mark, a few minutes ago when you said you wanted to just hit stuff, speaking of not only hitting drums, you also hit those books as well, because you're actually an author. I was wondering if you can tell us a bit more about your books, and what got you into actually becoming an author. And of course, aside from punk rock, where can we check out your readings?
Actually, so my one musical book is about the Beach Boys. It's about their Holland album, and it's called Tired of California. And I was kind of balancing writing and music for a long time, and for a while I was actually a lot more involved in the local writing scene than in the music scene. But just the thing about writing is that it's just so lonely. You just sit in front of a computer and type, and you might get a little bit of feedback from people, but I really was just craving just the connection with other human beings. So that's why I was just so glad to just move more solidly in the direction of music, and was incredibly excited to meet up with Jim and Nick as far as first Scoopski went, and then DelCobras. But yeah, a couple of my other books. I have a book called The Singular Exploits of Wonder Mom and Party Girl, about a soccer mom who becomes a cocaine dealer. That one's fun, and
That's a good one. I read that one.
It sounds like a wild story, man.
It is.
I dig it.
Set right here in Delco, home of DelCobras. And yeah, then a novel, another novel called The Grievers, and then I have a children's book called Frankie Lumlet's Janky Drum Kit, which is also kind of more musical. It's I think Jim read it to his son, didn't you?
I did. Yep. It's a good one.
It's about a little boy who wants to play drums.
Yes.
Loosely based on the life of Nick Cervini.
loosely. I'm an old man now, so.
And also as well, with the release of the turnaround, you guys, like as I mentioned, you guys have been hitting the ground running. You're making a huge impact within the punk rock community. But I have to ask, because this song's amazing, and me personally, as a DelCobras fan, I would love to hear more. So I have to ask: are you guys actually plan on doing a full-length studio album, or are you guys just going to continue focusing on singles?
That's actually a great question. I think I don't think we're thinking about an album yet. I mean, we're inching towards, we have probably like an EP's worth of demos and stuff right now, but I think at the moment we're just focused on singles. We're still very early on in this band. Like, we're still in its infancy, I would say. Like, but we'll have another single coming very soon. Before the start of summer, you're going to hear another track from us. So stay tuned for that. I guess that's all we can really commit to right now. Is
we can give some right. I mean, we could say this one's different from the previous one in that we went to a studio to record it. We went to our friend Jesse Gimbel's studio. He lives out here in Delco, right outside of Philadelphia as well. And it was actually a really interesting experience for us, because I think aside from the one session we did as Scoopski, it was the first time we actually, worked with a producer who was giving us a little bit of feedback while we were working and turning the recording of the song into kind of a dialogue that would help us to get the best sound that we could.
Yeah, which is very different from the way we did the turnaround. Like Mark said, we had done one session in a studio with Scoopski before, but it was just kind of like a live recording session. It was kind of just we all just played the songs we had. It wasn't really like we're producing a track with like the way we did with Jesse. So it was awesome. The song turned out great, and it's got a lot of energy to it, and yeah.
And also, May 31st, 2025, next month at 7 p.m., you guys will be taking the stage at the Colonial Playhouse in Alden, Pennsylvania. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about this up-and-coming show. And, of course, where can we actually snag ourselves some last-minute tickets? That way the DelCobra fans can come on out and just have an amazing night of punk rock.
Yeah, the show kind of came together in an interesting way. I've always wanted to try to find different kinds of venues for us to play in, and I knew of this organization that did put on shows. It was the Colonial Playhouse, but the shows they put on were just plays, like straight plays, not musicals, nothing, no rock concerts really to speak of, but it was a cool venue. And so I just got in touch with them and just said, hey, I'm in a band. I'm just wondering, would you guys ever be open to letting bands play in your theater? And they were just like, yeah, actually, sure. And I was all set to just be like, all right, I'll pay you like $500 to rent the place, like whatever. And they were like, sure, yeah, come on in. We'll just do a split of the door. And I was like, oh, yes, that's the deal we want. Split of the door. Yes. That's better.
I had nothing else in mind. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just, we set that up. And so, the show's going to be May 31st. We have 4 acts on the bill, all friends of ours. One, Jesse Gimbel, who produced our single. Another guy, Fataday Corngore, excellent musician, also from out here in Delco. And a band called Rescue Pets, who actually, Nick and I filled in for their rhythm section back in December when they weren't available. So we're kind of we have been honorary Rescue Pets in the past. And I
have to ask.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, my apologies. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and I think that tickets are available on. There's a link to them probably on our Linktree.
Yeah, if you go on Instagram or our Linktree, on Instagram there's a link to our Linktree, and there's a ticket link in there, so you can find tickets that way. That's probably the easiest way. Just search for DelCobras on Instagram, our any other social media, you should be able to track that down pretty easily.
And what I'll do as well, I'll actually edit the description of this interview, and I'll actually put the Linktree actually at the bottom of it. That way, individuals can find all your social media accounts with the click of a button.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And tonight, before we actually part ways, guys, obviously we talked about the potential of new music. We talked about the phenomenal track, The Turnaround. We talked about the show coming up next month. But is there anything we happen to miss during this evening's broadcast that you three still want to touch on, talk about, or promote? We still got you here on 99.9 FM tonight.
How about you guys? I'm trying to
We
think.
have a few more songs in the hopper. We're always working on new music. So we have our next single recorded, and we have, I guess, 3 more songs that we're workshopping at this point and rehearsing. Probably going to try them out in the live show, and then from there just try to figure out audience reaction to those and think about how we're going to approach recording those songs.
Yeah, that's the thing. The Colonial Theater is our Colonial Playhouse is our first show, so we're gonna see how, like Mark said, see how some of these go over live, and maybe that'll influence some of the recording and whatnot. So we might record some of them the way we did The Turnaround, like more remote. We might in the future go back to a studio. We're kind of gonna try a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So.
And then we have a few shows later in the summer, right? Yeah.
We're actually filling out with the summer pretty quick. We got one show at the Rusty Nail on June 19th with a band called Grand Dogs. And then we have one at the Gem in Spring City on July 5th. And then one on August 20th at the Fire with Worm Wagon and Strangeness in Proportion is the lineup so far. So
wow, good memory, Jim.
We have more shows than songs recorded at the moment.
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
Going backwards. We're doing this backwards.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? At the end of the day, the shows are the great thing. And it's weird to say this because back in the day, the music is what the moneymaker was. You'd make money doing shows, but you'd have record deals, record contracts making money. Now it's the opposite. I mean, shows are where the money is. So in a way, you guys are making money even just having one song out. So that shows the equality of the punk rock that you guys produce, man. One song getting all these shows. Just imagine when you guys drop that EP, man. The money will rain.
We'll be raking it in.
Literally, we have to get into a rake, just kind of rake the money up, But I ain't even mad, guys. Get the bag, honestly, because you guys are a phenomenal band. I can see you guys going really far in this. So you keep making it. I know we here at 99.9 Punk World Radio FM, we're going to keep spinning it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks
Appreciate
so much.
it. Appreciate the support. Yeah. Thanks for having us.
You're most certainly welcome. In a way, you guys actually reached out first. Technically, you guys are the first ones to send us the music. I love what I heard, and here we are tonight. So, again, thank you guys for the support and seeing something in my radio station and reaching out. But I got to say, Jim, Mark, Nick, it was phenomenal talking with Philadelphia's finest tonight. Hopefully down the line we can make this happen again sometime soon. But for now, have yourselves a phenomenal night, and we definitely shall talk soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Take care.